Hey YouTube, I'm Amy, and today we're going to talk about 3 strategies for making money flipping furniture, so stay tuned. Real quick before we get started, I'd like to ask you to subscribe and like this video if it's something you're interested in. I do a lot of content about furniture painting, furniture flipping, and mural painting, so if those things interest you, please consider subscribing to my channel. Also check in the description box below. I have a freebie that gives you a pricing guide for furniture that you want to flip. It helps you kind of calculate how much you should pay for something based on how much you think you can sell it for or how much you want to make off of it. So check that out in the description box below. I also just want to say a real quick thank you to everybody who's watched my videos. The channel recently got monetized and I'm just so grateful that you guys watch the videos, and I love it when you comment and ask questions and have things to say. It gives me lots of ideas for new video topics, so I'd love to hear below what kinds of things you're interested in hearing more about. Give me some suggestions in the comments. All right, so we're going to talk about flipping furniture for profit today. And this is a topic that's very popular right now. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about 3 different ways that you could approach it based on what your skills are, what kind of time you have, what assets you have, whether you have a truck or don't, whether you have money to spend doing it or not, what kinds of skill levels you have. There's lots of things to consider. And so I'm going to talk about 3 different strategies that you could consider for what's the sweet spot for you or the right lane for you to be in when flipping furniture. Now, when it comes to flipping furniture, let's say there's a line from 0 to 100 of how much involvement you're going to have and how much work you're going to do on that piece of furniture from the time that you decide you're going to find a piece of furniture and get it until the time that it is in someone else's hands and the money is in your hands. So let's say that goes 0 to 100. There's a whole continuum of how much involvement you can have, how quickly you can turn it around, how much work you can do to it, and you can fall anywhere on that line. For this video, I'm going to pick out 3 strategies, kind of 3 points, and talk about 3 different strategies that you can have for flipping, and think about what's going to work the best for you and what your skill set probably should be for each one. And that can get you thinking about maybe where you want to kind of specialize when you start off, so that you can get good at doing one thing and kind of start to learn more about it and get good at that, and then expand into a little more different types of stuff that you want to do. When it comes to furniture flipping, strategy number 1 I'm going to call take the money and run. Basically, this is you having your hands on it the least amount of time, doing the least that you can do to it, and just getting the money for it as quickly as possible. So this one, I think of, it's kind of like if you were planning to rob a convenience store, you're thinking in and out, nobody gets hurt. We're going to do it quick. We're not going to get messy. We're not going to spend a lot of time getting involved. As quickly as I can get it out of my hands again and get the money in my hands, then that's my goal, and that's what I'm looking for in a piece of furniture. So what you want to look for in something like this is you want to look for pieces that you really think were undervalued by the person selling or giving them away for whatever reason, because they needed to get rid of it, because they don't have time to deal with it, because they didn't want to bother to take a good picture or to clean it or just to do anything with it. So you're looking for pieces that have value on the market, but that need you to just do a little bit to them, very little, like clean them really well, stage them better, take a better picture, and then post them in a way possibly that is going to be easier for people to find the listing. Maybe you're better at doing the keywords and spelling things correctly and things like that. Sometimes if you find an item that was misspelled or that was not listed well, you might get a gem right there, and you have to do almost nothing except just relist it in a way that makes it easier for the buyer who wants it to find it. So you're looking for things like that, and you want to focus on things that don't need any work if possible, or at least not much. Maybe they need a good cleaning, but hopefully they don't need much beyond that. So you're looking for pieces that are in good shape, that have some value on the market, and that you think you can turn around quickly. The second strategy, I'm going to call it good bones. It's kind of in the middle of that continuum from 1 to 100. It's where I spend quite a bit of my time, because I am a painter and I like to paint things, and it's where you're looking for a piece that is a pretty piece or a nice piece that could have value, but it needs a little bit of TLC to get it to that place where it's going to have value. And the person who owns it right now does not want to spend the time or put the effort in. That's not their interest. And so you can get that piece for a good price, a cheap price, or free, or almost nothing, and then you can put a little of your own effort into it and make it worth something, and then sell it for more. So what you're looking for is pieces that need some cosmetic improvement, but that are nice pieces that are in decent shape, Or maybe they just need, maybe they need a few new screws or a small amount of repair that you're able to do because you're handy with that, but it's not very much. So you're looking for things like that have an unpopular finish color or some damage to the finish or the exterior, or are a little rickety, but you have the skills to sturdy them up and make them stronger and nicer again, or need new hardware or something that someone is overlooking and doesn't want to mess with. Then you take those pieces, you do a medium amount of effort and investment to them, and then you sell them. You're able to mark them up significantly and sell them for a price that makes it worth your while. So that's the medium, middle of the road, good bones strategy. The third strategy is, I'm going to quote one of my favorite quotes I ever heard from an artist, which is, if something is worth doing, it's worth overdoing. So the third strategy is all the way at the other end. That's where you're going to take something and you're going to put a lot into it. It didn't have a lot of value before. It was something basic and simple, and you're going to add value by the work that you do to it. Now this could be that you're going to do an elaborate paint finish to it that makes it really genuinely look like an antique French wardrobe, or a piece that is being sold from a high-end furniture place. Or you're going to add, maybe you're a good woodworker like DIY Wife. You guys haven't checked out that channel. She likes to build these custom-made wood bases and add them onto the furniture and take off the outdated bases or legs or skirts and put those on. She's building that addition to the furniture, but that elevates it to a whole different price level once she's done that work. So what you want to do is add enough value that you can sell it for significantly more, even though it takes more time, and you will invest a little bit of money or time into the materials and things that you're going to do to make it that way. You're going to be able to sell it for significantly more than you bought it for and make a profit that way. So that's the third method. So which method should you focus on? The reason I'm doing this video is because I want to encourage you that, especially when you're starting off, there are so many options. There's so much furniture out there. You may just be kind of like a shotgun, that you're trying a little bit of everything and you're not sure where to start or what to do. I get a question very often from people when I say, get to know what things are selling for in your area, how much they're going for. And people are like, how am I supposed to know that? What things are selling for in my area? Well, this is one thing I would encourage you to do, is choose something that's a good fit for you, and then sort of specialize in that in the beginning while you start to learn and get a feel for, you know, that particular type of item. If you want to do dressers, because they do have a pretty good markup, they can sell pretty consistently. If you have a truck and you're able to get dressers and repaint them or redo them, you can sell them for several $100s, and so you can usually start making profits quicker if you're doing bigger pieces like that. But then you can get to know exactly what they're going for, what you can and can't sell, because you're kind of specializing in that item. If you need to start by specializing in small pieces because that's what you're able to do right now, then get a feel for what sells and what you're able to do by specializing in the beginning. I think it's important to kind of look at what your skills are, what your abilities are, what you have to invest, whether it's time, money, skill, any of that, and see what's the smartest strategy for you to start with. So for example, I'd say maybe try strategy number 1, where you're just trying to flip as quickly as possible. If you don't have a lot of time to do it, but you do have a really good eye for things, and you have an ability and a space to stage things nicely and to take good pictures and to post things well. If those are skills that you have, then that first strategy would be a good one for you to start with. Try to find pieces that you don't really have to do much of anything to, and then you'll start to get a feel for what they sell for, how quickly you can turn them over, what's the best way to stage, what's the best way to list. You'll start developing those skills first, and then you can expand from there. Now, I'd recommend strategy number 2, which is what I call the good bones strategy. If you have more time than money to invest in a piece, like this is a good strategy if you need to get pieces for free or almost free and then add value to them by doing just some work to them on your own at home. If you have some space to be able to work on them, like some room in a garage or someplace where you can paint things and kind of fix things up, those are things that you need. If you have a truck, that would be helpful to be able to paint and fix things up. Then this is a strategy that could work well for you because you're going to add some value to it. You're going to learn. By doing this, you're going to start to learn real quickly how to get better at painting, which finishes are going to be the most popular, which items do the best, and which colors and styles do the best when you spruce them up and resell them. You're going to start to learn that kind of stuff first. and then you can expand from there, expand what you're attempting and what you're offering. I would suggest you try strategy number 3. If something is worth doing, it's worth overdoing. If your skills are kind of at the next level, higher than what the average person has. Because the reason that you're going to be able to ask more is that you're able to do something to this that the average person can't do. It's not just that they don't want to be bothered, like some people don't want to repaint their furniture in a simple way, but repainting it just a simple color is something that most people could do if they wanted to. Now, if you're doing something much more complicated than that, not everybody has those skills. So you're going to be able to charge a whole extra level for these skills that not everybody has. If you have those kinds of skills that are beyond the ordinary, then you might consider that level 3 might be the place that's your sweet spot, because you can be charging more. Now, the more specialized an item is, the longer it may take you to sell it, but you can usually ask a higher price. So just keep that in mind. There's always a balance between something that's going to sell to a more of a mass population, something that could go in everybody's house, versus something that's much more elaborate and specific. Even though it's really special, it may sell for a high price when you find the right buyer, but you've got to find the right buyer. Now, if you dream of getting your skills to that next level, but you're not there yet, then I'd say start in number 2, strategy number 2, because that's where you're going to build those skills. You're going to get better at painting, you're going to get better at carpentry, you're going to get better at fixing things up, and then you can eventually move to that next level of doing more elaborate and complicated projects. And the truth is that most of us who do this kind of stuff do a mix of things, but we tend to have a place where we spend the most of our time. When I was thinking about doing this video, when I had the idea for doing it, I thought, really, if I'm being honest, I spend most of my time in strategy 2, because I'm a painter, I like painting. I see furniture and I just immediately see the potential that it has if it were like a different finish and a different color and different knobs and a few little, a few kind of cosmetic changes that could make it look fabulous. I get really excited about that, and so I like to do it. So that is where I spend most of my time. But when I was even thinking through these strategies and what I would advise you, I was thinking that honestly, I think that strategy 1 and strategy 3 may be the places where you can maximize your profits quicker, because in strategy 1 you're doing nothing to it, right? So you're not spending much of your time. You're really just getting more sales and more frequent sales, and your money can add up faster. In strategy number 3, you are putting more time and effort into it, but you're taking it to a whole other level where you can ask a whole different price point for it. The one in the middle is the one that, most people with medium skills can do. You are putting effort and energy into it by repainting a piece of furniture or doing something to refinish it. And yet it's still kind of an average, normal piece of furniture, so you can't ask some astronomical price because it doesn't look like a French antique or something really unique or special. And so you can't necessarily ask super high prices. So your margins in the middle section may not be quite as high. Now, I still think it's a great place where you can make money, and it's also a great place to build your skills if you want to take them to the next level. But just in thinking about it, I was like, well, I'm mostly a number 2, but really, I think that you might make your money quicker if you were doing strategy 1 or doing strategy 3. So I would love to hear what you guys think about that. First, I'd love to hear which one appeals to you, or which one are you doing, or which one do you think you have the skills for. And then I'd also like to hear which one do you think, what's your idea? Which one do you think would make money the fastest? And where's your best bet? Where do you want to spend your time? I would love to hear some more in the comments. When you guys comment, I try to get back to you and have a conversation about it, and it also gives me lots of ideas for continuing to do more of these types of videos. So let me know what you think. And thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.